Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Goat Locker Racing League and the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series here on Tuesday night. We're back after a 1-week hiatus. I don't know why. I don't know what it was for, but we're back. And man, am I excited to be back. And I'm excited to get racing what is going to be a fun combination. The Xfinity car at Richmond. Woo! Go ahead and get your yellow flags handy. If you got a bingo game, if you got yellow flags on it, you're in trouble. Don't do any yellow flag drinking games tonight, because I think you're going to see some tough racing that is going to be a lot of fun. Now, Go Locker, known to have some really clean racing. The green flag runs, all well and good, but we got 26 drivers here tonight on Richmond. Not even a mile long, 3/4 of a mile. And they're going to have to get it done and try to get this win here tonight. It's going to be exciting, going to be fun. But I want to thank Right Now Roofing for their sponsorship of this series, all that they've done. Just been an incredible sponsor and a partner for Goat Locker, and we're glad to have them on board. So definitely appreciate Right Now Roofing. Well, let's talk a little bit about it. We've got Richmond Raceway up here, and we've already talked about it in Richmond, Virginia. Opened in 1946, one of the older tracks on the circuit. I mean, if you think about Daytona. Daytona was in the 50s, and then look here at Richmond, one of the oldest tracks. But just a fun little track, a little bit different than short track. People like to call it a short track. I'm not really sure. It races a lot different. So you're going to see that tonight. Very fast, lots of speed. and you're really going to have to carry a lot of momentum through these turns, especially in these Xfinity cars. And when you unload off a turn 2 and come off a turn 4, you better be ready, because that back end will come around on you real quick. So take a look at your point standings as they sit. Jake Ellingson, Jacob Denson sitting atop the standings with those 2 wins, and Trevor McManus with his 1 win, and Charlie Harcum there in 4th. Got Patrick Drabick in 5th, Scott Phelps in 6th, Alex Cruz there in 7th position. So it's still wide open. You look at the cut line, and you see it's dead heat there between Jason Kraft and Chris Sawyer. Lots of opportunities to move around and do different things. The easiest way is just to get a win. If you're Jamie Barkus there on that cut line, just 1 point above it, just go out there and get a win tonight. He's very fast at Richmond. I expect that to continue here tonight. If he gets a win, he'll lock himself in the playoffs. He's good to go. Had to miss last, I think, one of the last few races. So looking forward to seeing who can come on top. But we got a lot of new faces. While Jamie, I think, and obviously the guys there at the top 5 have been strong all season. These new guys, what are they going to do? Who's going to show up and show out here tonight? And that's why we watch it. It's going to be a beautiful thing. We'll take a look at the schedule to see we're already 6 races into this schedule. Atlanta Motor Speedway next week, the new Atlanta, I believe, and the New Hampshire, Watkins Glen, Charlotte, and then the playoffs start. So we are jumping right into it. You don't have a whole lot of time if you want to get this thing you get your vehicle into the playoffs. So let's do something new, something that we haven't done all season long. We want to do a little national anthem before we get into the grid. Qualifying just almost over, so let's go ahead and jump right into that. And want to thank Jared Ashley, a former Navy veteran, for his rendition of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, all right, there you have it, your national anthem. We're ready to go now. We should have been doing that all along, and we're ready to roll. I think that gets us in the mood for this race, and just in time as we're going to get ready to jump right into the grid. And we're going to see who's going to start on the front row here tonight. Who's it going to be? Let's go through your grid. On the front row, look who it is. Mr. Gotta need a win, want to get a win. And that's Jamie Barkus. Going to start on the pole here tonight. Jacob Denson going to start outside of the front row. Row number 2 is going to be Patrick Dravick with Mark McCreary there in 4th position. Scott Phelps and Johnny Cofield going to round out the next row. 7th place going to be Alex Cruz with Jacob Ellingson in 8th. 9th going to be John Anthony with George Jewell in rounding out the top 10. 11th going to be Colton Lamford, Jeremiah Holt there in 12th. Regis Clark starting in 13th. Tyler Justice, I think that's a new name for me, going to start in 14th in that Toyota Supra. Brandon Barrier in 15th. Jason Kraft in the 16th position. 17th, Dustin Hardy with, I'm gonna butcher this name, but we'll get it right next week, Mr. Martinez. But Eric Martinez is the best I can come up with. If it's not right, just message me, let me know. Doug Ellingson, Chance Taylor going to round out your top 20. Jimmy Cofield, Matt Knights, Craig Bontrager. We'll get that one right too, but we got some new names in the house tonight. Trevor McManus in 24th. 25th, Bobby Jermaine with Jonathan Barker in 26th. And then you got Cameron Mason rounds out the field here tonight. Well, boy, I tell you what, just can't beat it, Richmond. On a Tuesday night, we're going to get ready for some awesome racing. Let's take a look at your race analysis. Xfinity cars, fixed setup, 130 laps, 4 tire sets total. So I think they only have 3 in the pits here tonight. That's going to be something to pay attention to. And then we do have that one fast repair if you need it. So you never know when you might need that fast repair. And I would imagine coming off of turn 2, turn 4 is going to be a good point to maybe have that thing. But getting ready to go green here. 130 laps to settle this. Who's going to come away with the victory? Is it going to be Jamie Barkus? Is it going to be one of the guys who have been here before? We're going to find out really, really soon as we're going to go around one more time, and then we're going to get this thing underway. Hope everybody's having a great evening tonight. Things to talk about with this car. This, I've already touched on it a little bit. It's really fast, and we'll see it as we go in-car cameras. You got to be on your P's and Q's. You go down the corner, you got a trail brake. Let that car just dive off into the corner where they are now and let it roll the center, but you want to pick up the throttle as soon as you possibly can where you come off a turn 2 here, and the car is just going to unload. That means it's just the weight distribution is going to shift dramatically, and the car is going to be out of shape. You're going to have to be able to counter steer, work that throttle off the corner, keep those tires under. If you burn those rear tires off, you're going to be in trouble. There we go, getting ready to go green. 130 laps here at Richmond. Right now, roofing, Xfinity Series, let's go. Ooh, already some contact in the wall. Looks like they're able to get it held on. I don't know who that was, but almost a nightmare back here in the back is, the 32 is going to get into the back of the 00. 32 at Jeremiah Holt as Jacob Ellingson is blinking out. That may be the problem that we're seeing. Oh, you see the 36, Bobby Jermaine, get out of the groove there. Oh, man, we've already got somebody in the wall, and it looks like Jacob Ellingson. Jacob Ellingson and Doug Ellingson has gone around. And, boy, we saw some blinking going on. Let's see if we can go back. I think he is just having internet issues. You can see right here the replay is actually not able to show him as right now, we're about 30 seconds back. He is blinking out terribly. And I would imagine he comes back. And, yeah, Alex Cruz making contact with him, and this is Jacob Ellingson. And, honestly, he probably just doesn't know where anybody is. Doug Ellingson locking up the brakes, going around. And we have our first caution of the night. Jacob Ellingson now on pit road. So that is not a very good way to start this race. That's a tough deal. That is our, you talk about virtual versus real racing. Well, obviously they don't have the seat of their pants. They're missing a lot of the physical parts of it, and they don't have mechanical failures here. You can blow a tire, but outside of that, parts and pieces are going to stay on it. Mechanical failures just not something that iRacing does. Random failures, probably bad for business, honestly. But we have internet issues to deal with, and that's something that happens from time to time. And the server that they're connected to, they're all on their own computers, and the server tries to guess where everybody is. It's called netcode. And the iRacing itself tries to determine, based on a lot of math, where everybody is on the track, and that's how everybody's able to race around each other, make contact. Usually it's pretty good, but sometimes we see netcode be a problem. The server not really sure where that person is, guess is wrong, and there's contact to be made. Well, this is a very similar type situation where Jacob Ellington's connection just not very good at the moment. Something's going wrong, and the server just wasn't sure where he was. Kept blinking out, coming back in, and unfortunately, when he does, Alex Cruz was there to make contact, and that's just part of it. That is what happens in virtual racing. So we'll get a quick caution here. We'll go back green. Hopefully get some green flag racing. But like I said, you better not have a drinking game going of yellow flags tonight. I think there's a recipe. You think, well, here at Go Locker we have green flag racing, and I think that you're absolutely right if you said that. And I would not debate that at all. But you got a lot of new drivers in. Everybody's trying to figure out each other. Richmond's a tough place to do that. So you got some folks that haven't been a part of it, don't know who to trust, who that can race around. It's a learning process. That's why leagues are so great. You get into an official race. You don't really know who you're racing. You're trying to just hope for the best. But in a league race, you know each week who you're racing against. When you start adding new folks, it can always be a little tough. That's not what happened there. But just something to look out for tonight. Lights are out of the pace car. We're going to go back green. And get this thing back rolling. All right, pace car pulls off. Green flag back out here at Richmond. And Jamie Barkus this time going to get a really, really nice jump out front. And Patrick Rabbit going to fall in second place. Back in third is where the battle is. You're going to see Jacob Denson there on the outside, really trying to make that outside work. And you could absolutely do that. Richmond, one of the few short tracks that can make the outside work. It's very difficult for the driver on the bottom to make that pass. You're going to see Mark McCrary have to really work for it. So, see down on the bottom, that Speed Kings 83 starting to get a nose out in front of Jacob as they go down in 3 and 4, but that run off the top is really, really strong right now. Still battling side by side as Patrick Rabbit, Jamie Barkus start to pull away just a little bit. Right behind them, Scott Phelps, waiting in the wings, waiting on something to happen here. Oh, and caution, back out. As it looks like maybe Brandon Barrier has gone around. See him slow on the track. Let's take a look at it and see what happened. 53. Oh, gets into the back. Oh, it looks like the 24 and just slides and goes around. Back it up just a little bit more and see if we can't get a little bit better. The 24 of Dustin Hardy right in front of him. He's battling side by side with the 32 of Jeremiah Holt. You see, oh, Dustin gets a little bit loose there, and Brandon does a really good job of staying off. But really no harm, no foul. I mean, he was able to not really make any contact and going to lose a few spots, but not too bad. Going to come down pit road, Brandon is, and get some service done to that car. You can see he's kind of pondering, wondering, what could I have done any different? But I don't think he could have. I think he did the best that he could there in that moment. And so he's now going to come down, maybe get a fast repair, but likely just get a little bit of damage fixed on this thing, I would imagine. I think didn't gain enough damage to really use a fast repair, and looks like he is good to go. So Brandon Barrier back out on the track. Got some different cams here tonight, so I want to highlight all the new folks. I got Jonathan Barker here in the number 44 machine. He's got the Ford Mustang unsponsored, it looks like. So if you're looking for a driver sponsor, maybe Jonathan Barker is your guy. And hey, Jonathan Barker, number 2. There's 2 of them out there. Good grief. But he currently started in 26th, now running in 24th. Gained a couple spots there through that caution, but with only 13 laps, he really hasn't had a whole lot of time to make up any ground. But appreciate his cam tonight. Looking to see if he can move forward, maybe one of the bigger movers in the race. So good luck there to you, Jonathan. And we'll be cheering him on tonight. So appreciate those cams as always. It always just adds so much to be able to look in, see what the other drivers, what their setups look like, and sure does make it a lot of fun. Of course, we got Patrick Drabick, always has his webcam on, got his really cool setup with his Liberty University William Byron. He's got his gloves on, his goat locker hat. I mean, can't really beat it. He's ready to go racing. And I think he likes Richmond, but I know that 15 right under him, he loves it. Starting on the front row, got out to a really good jump, and would love to put the 15 Right Now Roofing Chevrolet in victory lane in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series. I know that for a fact. All right. Well, after that caution, we're going to go green again and see if we can't get this thing, get some green flag racing here. Green flag back out. Another great jump for Jamie Barkas. As Patrick right behind him. Now under fire from Mark McCrary, trying to get down and get that position taken care of. And it looks like he's going to get the run he needs right on the back bumper of the 15 of Jamie Barkas. On board with Patrick as we watch him take a lap, trying to keep tabs with his teammates. Oh, caution. Back out. So already early, it looks like John Anthony has had some sort of issue. He has actually bounced out. Let's see if we can go back on the replay and look. Oh, man, Regis Clark just cleans out, gives somebody a huge bump. And I think John Anthony was sort of just a innocent bystander there, as that all started with the 8 of Regis Clark. And this is that short track stuff that we're talking about. Let's go look on board with Regis Clark. Drive down into the corner. He's got Cofield right in front of him. And, yeah, I don't think he expected Cofield to really check up that much. It's really hard to say. We'll kind of see if we can slow it down just a little bit. You see Cofield missing the bottom there. He's not going to get a great run. And then they seem to be at the right speed right here, but the 97 kind of checks up. So I don't know if that was like a brake check or just trying to slow down. I think that's probably what it was, just trying to get down into the corner and get himself kind of going back forward and make a little contact. And they keep moving on. And unfortunately, it was John Anthony that takes the worst of it. You can see the 27 of Jacob Ellingson back there still blinking out. Some major connection issues for him and others. So but nobody's really getting, oh, well, I was going to say nobody's getting a whole bunch of damage, but you can see right there John Anthony missing a whole back bumper there. Well, we haven't really seen this race play out just yet. It's been a lot of caution. It's been about 5 laps caution so far. And so excited to see this kind of go a little bit longer. You see Regis Clark actually doesn't have a rear bumper as well, so somebody's made contact with him, so maybe that's where that whole deal started between him and Cofield in the 97. As Jamie Barkas warming up his tires, getting ready to get this thing rolling. Pace car pulls back off. Green flag back out in the air on lap 19. Coming to lap 20. Still got a long way to go, over 110 laps left in this thing. As Jamie Barkas gets out ahead of his teammate, Patrick Drabick able to get back down to the bottom. All your speed is down on the bottom. If you're side by side, you're losing time. So trying to get down to the bottom as soon as you possibly can is what he wants to do on these restarts, working with his teammate to make sure he doesn't get hung out on the outside from that third-place car. And he was able to do that. I mean, those guys working together, if they get that front row restart, many times they'll be able to do that and help maintain that track position. Because Mark McCrary does look pretty fast here tonight, so if you can keep him in third, that's where you want to keep him. You got Scott Phelps going down to the inside of the 25. That is Colton Lanford as they battle side by side. Colton's going to do a little switcheroo, try to get back up under him. Colton does get the run that he needs, so you're going to go back down. This is a battle for the 5th position. And Scott going to drive it really hard on the outside, and you're going to see the massive run he's going to get off of turn 4. That outside really strong there. As that track opens up, as you can see, the front straightaway is not a front straightaway, it's a front curveaway. And so if you can come off the top side and you get a pretty massive run, as off of 2, it really straightens up. Very hard to make that outside work. But you go back here, boy, we've got a miss. You see Regis Clark without that rear bumper, and he is in a cluster you-know-what, and that is, man, look here, 97 getting back to his back bumper. You can tell there's not a whole lot of not a whole lot of love going on out here so far, as you can see. Oh, here we go. He's going to clean him out. 97 of Johnny. Oh, my goodness. And then the 21 of, I don't know who the 21 is. Oh, the 21 of Eric Martinez is going to just drive right in there and caution back out. And we saw it happen. But we'll take a look at it, as we kind of seen that kind of been brewing here, as these two have been kind of making some contact here and there. Watch the 97 back here right behind him. You can see just drives it in there and says, excuse me. So hands being thrown out there. I don't know. It depends on what kind of race fan you are. Do you love to see that? Do you not? Everybody's got their own opinion. I'll let you form your own. We'll watch it one more time. One little bump there. That was in 1 and 2, and you're going to see going into 3 and 4 here. Yeah, just completely cooks it. And fortunately for the 8, he's going to go around. And poor Eric is the one that really got the worst of it there. We'll go on board with Martinez here. Martinez was back here in about 18th. Just minding his own business, and just kind of gets tight there, gets on the brakes, locks him up. And when you lock him up like that, unfortunately, you can see he had his wheel turned all the way to the left. But once you lock those front brakes up, there is no steering left. And unfortunately, he's going to have to tow and get that fast spare. Probably going to end up a lap down or 2. So unfortunate for him. But out front still Jamie Barkus, Patrick Drabick, Mark McCrary in 3rd, Jacob Denson in 4th, Scott Phelps in 5th, Colton Lanford in 6th position, 7th Alex Cruz, Dustin Hardy in 8th, and then Craig Bontrager. I'll have to ask him about that name. Bontrager. I like that. We'll get it right. Trevor McManus rounds out your top 10. Well, let's take a little break while we've got yet another caution, and let's give some love to Premier Racing Setups. All right, we're back. Quick commercial break. We're getting ready to go green yet again. As you see, both Right Now Roofing cars. See, Pat Drabick actually has one as well. So they're really trying to make sure Right Now Roofing gets into victory lane here in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series, into the Geico restart zone one more time. Well, not one more time, probably multiple. One of many more times. Mark is able to get loose. Oh, Denson's going to get loose right in front of the field, and we got the big one here in Richmond. Everybody did a great job, but the 7 of Jacob Denson, yet one of your points leaders, goes around in very rare form to see Jacob Denson do something like that, but I think he just spun out on his own. Let's go back and take a look at it. Although he might have had some help here from Scott Phelps, and we'll actually go on board with Scott Phelps here. Oh, yeah, he does get a little bit of help. Both of them really fighting to get into that corner. Watch it one more time. Scott really wants to get down to the inside, and Jacob would like, and Scott just enters a lane higher, and I just don't think Jacob really knew that he was going to be, he probably thought he was going down to the bottom, and when he did, just carnage as everybody was full bore there. But unfortunately for Scott, he is going to go around. It looks like he's losing a rear bumper as well. So, if you build and sell rear bumpers, hey, and you're in the Richmond, Virginia area, stay near your phone. Business might be picking up for you. Scott Phelps going to have to go down pit road, likely get his fast repair. So far, Colton Lanford was involved in that. He got his fast repair, along with Regis Clark, Jimmy Cofield, and Jeremiah Holt have all used their fast repair already. Jacob Ellingson's actually out of this race. His connection issue is just too much, and so he'll have to come back and try to defend his points lead. But he's got those 2 wins on the season, so he'll be fine. No change up front. We saw that incident there, so that took out a top 5 driver. That's going to move Alex Cruz and Dustin Hardy up into the 5th position. We saw Dustin involved in an accident early, but he is really moving up through the field. So Dustin Hardy having a really, really good run so far, up quite a few spots. You see from 17th all the way up to 5th. So Dustin Hardy, maybe one to watch here at Richmond. Alrighty. Well, about to go green. Again. At least we hope so. Pace car pulls off, getting ready to go green, and green flag is out. Marcus going to get out ahead. Looks like Patrick not quite going to be able to get down to the inside as McCrary really fills that gap. And here comes Dustin Hardy, as Alex Cruz kind of gets bottled up here. But Patrick able to gas it up, get around, or get in front of Mark McCrary. But Mark looking really, really fast. Man, Dustin Hardy is really on the move. As soon as I say that, Alex Cruz is going to look down to the inside. But look at the run that you get off the top side. And Hardy able to really make that work. And here comes Trevor McManus, somebody we haven't talked about tonight so far. Just kind of been hiding out back here. He started 24th up to 6th. Holy moly. Which is no surprise, but not a very good qualifying effort. I don't know if he qualified at all, but starting 24th, pretty deep into the field for him. So he's been able to take advantage of all the cautions. That's one good thing about having a whole bunch of cautions. If you start deep in the field, you can pass 2 or 3 cars. Everybody kind of get caught back up, and then you pass 2 or 3 more, get caught back up again, and he's in the top 5 now, so he is in great shape if he's going to get a win. Right now looking to run down Dustin Hardy here. And we'll go on board with him, see what he's doing, because both these drivers seem to be really fast. Charging down to the corner. Getting right there on the bottom. You see he's actually coming off the corner a little bit lower than Dustin Hardy. Ooh, we got another caution. It looks like, I don't know who's involved in this one. Maybe it might have been Colton Lanford. So let's go back and see if we can see what happened to Colton. Colton in the 25. He's got Doug Ellingson right in front of him. Going to go down to the inside. Oh, Doug's going to come down the track and right hook him. And he goes right down into the wall. Watch this one more time, but Doug giving a lot of space there on the outside, trying to make sure that he passes clean or can get past clean. I think Colton has a big head of steam as they kind of get bottled up here. And, I mean, honestly, Doug just trying to stay out the top side, and I think he was just surprised how quickly Colton got a run on him and just wasn't expecting him to be there. Yet another caution here in this race. Scott Feld's going to get the lucky dog. It's going to put him back on the lead lap. So that 79 machine involved in that incident, he hasn't used his fast repair. I don't know if he knows he's missing a rear bumper, but, downforce not a huge issue. So as long as it drives good, may not need that front bumper. And in some instances, it might help him. Who knows? But he's going to get caught back up. Have the option to go down pit road if he wants. Well, good time to thank all of our sponsors. We talked about Right Now Roofing, but want to thank Jam Printing and Promotions, a massive sponsor of Goat Locker Racing, has been on board Patrick Dravick's schemes since I met him. Jam Printing Promotions, a massive, massive part of Goat Locker Racing, so definitely thank them for all of their support for this series. Of course, Veterans for Life Foundation. All these sponsors have sponsored something, one or the other. Veteran for Life sponsors series, Jam Printing Promotion sponsors a series, and Cruising Classics also sponsors a series. So, I mean, just great partners here at Goat Locker Racing, so definitely want to shout them out. And, of course, Premier Setups, supporting VSRN, and also supporting Goat Locker by providing really awesome setups here on Friday night for the truck series. The Jam Printing Promotions Truck Series. I'll be honest with you, 5 different winners in that series, and the setups have been really, really good, really competitive. The drivers have, normally when you bring a setup shop in, the drivers have nothing but complaints. It's, oh, the setup doesn't fit my driving style. Oh, the setup is too tight, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. But I haven't really heard any complaints. I've heard a lot of really, really good feedback from the drivers from Friday night, so Premier Setups really knocking it out of the park as far as what they're providing in the truck series. So if you're looking for a setup shop, go check them out. Might be worth checking out for whatever series that you're running. I think they cover pretty much everything. So, all right, well, story of the race so far has been the cautions, and it has been a lot of them. 6 cautions. We've got a couple lead changes, but really no lead changes as far as Jamie Martin's been out front this whole time and looking to lead every single lap. And it's going to be easy if the caution keeps coming out. Now, you wonder, why haven't they pitted yet? Well, here at Richmond at night, they do not really work the timing. 74 degrees on the track temp as we go green here. Not enough to really burn these tires up. They don't get hot. They don't get slick. They pretty much stay pretty gripped up for a long, long time. So I would expect to see these guys run till, 50, 60, 70, 80. Man, we got another caution out here. It's like Jimmy Cofield, Doug Ellingson involved. Oh, Doug is sitting down on the apron with some damage. And we'll go back and take a look at what happened here. restarts can be treacherous, especially since these guys have yet to come down pit road. A lot of guys have some damage. Oh, Doug Ellingson just cleans out the 3. Scott Felt's going to try to avoid the thing, but going to end up going board with Scott here. Watch as he does this restart. And yeah, I mean, really what happened there, Doug Ellingson just overcooked the corner, gets into the 3 of Jimmy Cofield, and sends him spinning. I mean, on these restarts, you really got to have some patience here as we watch Scott Phelps try to avoid this thing right here as the contact is made. You see it there, and he's hoping the car's going to stay up there, but Doug going to get loose, come back down right in front of him, and makes the contact. We'll watch it again on board with Doug Ellingson here, and just kind of highlight, I mean, just the need for a little bit of patience. Give some guys extra room. He kind of gave somebody a bunch of room when he got into Colton, but here it's getting up through the gears. Yeah, just completely cooks the corner. I mean, he was going to hit the wall if he didn't hit the 3 there. So, you know, nobody's immune of, hey, me just telling it like it is. And unfortunately for Doug there, he just overcooked the thing. But Jamie Barkus still out front. Check out some other cams that we got here tonight. We got one more, and that was one of the guys that was just involved, and that is Jimmy Cofield. Yes, he's got the little vertical cam for us tonight. You see, he's running in VR, so he's got the VR setup, so he is definitely not happy at the moment as he gets cleaned out. He is already used his fast repair, so going to have to either just deal with the damage or try to get it fixed a little bit, but going to come down pit road, trying to stay on the lead lap here and get that number 3 back in this thing, and hopefully start to move his way up through the field. Started 21st, has been kind of mired back there in the back. It's been tough for some guys to make it up through the field, so. All right. Looks like we are getting some quickie cautions thanks to Race Control and iRacing. They offer some admin commands. That way we can speed up the caution, especially since we're having so many. That way we're not running so many caution laps when we try to get this racing back green, but it has been a mess so far. But pace car going to pull off again. Jamie Barkus leads us down to the green flag, and we'll see if Patrick. It's starting to get tougher and tougher for Patrick to get that inside track into turn 1. And right now, Mark McCreary is going to be there. Patrick going to have to fight hard off of the corner. And Trevor McManus, you can see him fighting there, trying to stay ahead of Dustin Hardy. Mark McCreary really trying to drive that thing in there. He knows how hard it is to pass, but you can see he's not quite able to get there just yet. Patrick gonna be clear here as he comes off the corner. Mark almost got a nice run there, just wasn't able to get the power down. And man, look, Marcus actually slips up a little bit coming off of 2, and that allowed the 07 to get right to his bumper. But on board Mark McCreary here is he's trying to peek down to the inside, but now he's got to worry about Trevor McManus is going around the outside. And McManus up to 3rd place if he can complete this pass on the outside. We've seen that outside be good, especially as tires wear on. It's going to be tougher and tougher to complete these passes. Very difficult to pass at this track. It takes multiple laps. And honestly, the Lord put fenders on these things for a reason. And I think at some point later in the race, not now. We've already seen some guys put bumpers to folks early. Too early to do that. But later in the race, when it comes down to the end of this thing, you're going to have to put a bumper to somebody likely to make a move. You can just see how difficult. I mean, these guys were just right on the back bumper of Patrick Dravick, and now that they've run side by side for multiple laps now, Patrick and Jamie are now out to about half a second on these guys. Ooh, somebody gets into the wall. That's Chance Taylor. But continue to watch this battle for 3rd as McCreary starting to get a little bit of headway here on McManus. McManus has to be careful that he doesn't fight this too hard. He doesn't need to fight so hard right now. He can tuck in behind Mark, keep those tires cool. That outside can be very, very tough. As, man, look, Craig and Chance Taylor, number 14, making some contact as the 49 goes around. Chance has some front end damage. We'll caution back out. And it's for John Anthony at 00. He has gone around a couple times tonight. Let's see what happened to him. Couple drivers in front of him. The 86. Oh, the same thing that kind of happened earlier. He gets loose, saves it, and then just gasses it up again, trying to keep the momentum up, and he's going to lose it again. I just don't know if he knows he doesn't have a rear bumper, and that will definitely cause some issues. And we'll go back and look at it one more time, but may have some downforce issues that he's not aware of with that bumper being gone. But yeah, you can see it right here. He's gonna save it and then get up in that high line where there's not much grip, and then try to gas it up, trying to just save some positions, not lose too much, and he's gonna go around there. It's well out of the groove, makes it really tough to get that power down, and he had already heated it up with that slide. That's one thing in iRacing, tire temperatures matter, and if you slide those rears, it'll quickly heat those tires up and they just lose all grip. Got some folks on pit road. Pit lane is wide open. Now, our leaders did not pit. Mark McCreary in the 83, the first one to come down pit road as you see all the drivers coming out. So first stop of the night. That means they have only 2 sets of tires left in this race. I would imagine that's plenty with how the tire wear is going to be. But right now, Mark McCreary going to be on the freshest tires of that bunch. Now, Matt Knights and Jimmy Cofield came down. Jimmy came down about 10 laps ago. We saw him on pit road after a spin, so he is up in the 5th position, 10 laps on his tires. Matt Knights in the 64, running in the now 4th position. He pitted about 16 laps ago and got 4 tires on his number 64 machine. So these guys are in pretty good spots, I would imagine. I mean, Cofield and Knights, 16 and 10 laps, and a lot of them have been under caution. I think this is good for them. I think that worked out really nice. They've got some track position if they can hold on to it, if they're able to keep pace with the leaders. This worked out really, really well for them. For the top 3, Jamie Barkers, Patrick Rabick, Alex Cruz, we're going to see how much 58-lap old tires really going to hurt them. I know they don't want to give up track position, which is probably why they did not come down pit road, but I still think 58 laps is a lot to ask of 4 tires, even at a track like this. They can definitely keep up, and we'll see. This will be a great litmus test to see just exactly how important 4 tires are going to be here tonight. So we're going to see what they're able to do. Alrighty, well, not quite halfway just yet. Going to cross the line for lap 60. So still a lot of racing left. Jamie Barkis has led every single lap so far. And Patrick Rabick, after finding second place, is not really giving it up. He's been under fire on a lot of restarts here. This time he'll have his teammate behind him. We'll see if Alex pushes the issue or lets the 07 in. Alex has been kind of hanging around that top 5 as well. So we'll see what they decide to do as they come off of turn 4. Getting ready to go green here. And, boy, I hope we get some green flag racing here. I want to see how this plays out. Green flag is out. Mark McCreary in and Trevor McManus in the 9 and 83. Those are going to be your drivers all on fresh tires. You can see Matt Knights out there on the outside and Mark McCreary all over the back bumper. Just nowhere to go as old caution is out. I can't even talk about the race at all. It looks like Johnny Cofield was involved. The 12 of Jason Kraft as well, as we'll take a look and see what happened. Oh, looks like Johnny Cofield just going to get loose. And when he does, everybody else just trying to avoid him. Go back and watch it from a different view. See him there in that white. There's a lot going on in front of him. May have got that brake bias turned down just a little bit too much. Oh, the 32 of Jeremiah Holt also gets loose. And man, the 53. Massive, massive damage out of Brandon Barrier as he comes plowed into there. That wreck there. Go on board with him. And I think that was a case of cold tires. These guys come down. They've been running on the same set of tires, restarting on tires that have come up to heat. These guys go down the corner, got that brake bias turned down a little bit too much, and that rear end comes around. And, man, you see Brandon. You know, you got to wonder if Brandon doesn't wish that he would have just come to a complete stop instead of trying to make that as you can see his right front is laying on the ground here. So, got to wonder if he probably – wishes he would have just come to a complete stop instead of trying to shoot that gap because it closed up pretty quick. But it comes down pit road, gets a faster pair, and that right front is looking real, real good at the moment. Well, so far, it's been a tough one. It's been tough to navigate this race, as you know. There's just not a whole lot that's been able to develop, as we just haven't had enough green flag racing to see guys. I mean, you've seen some tempers early. I mean, early in the race, guys really laying it to each other. Some contacts, some wrecks that are. Because of that, some self-spins. I mean, it's really been the whole shebang as far as things that can cause cautions, blinking out. I mean, it's been everything so far. So, you know, I mean, fast repairs have been used. You know, that's the sort of the danger of having fast repairs. You're able to go down and get a fresh car and go out there and cause some more carnage. So we'll see if that starts to dwindle the numbers. So far, just a few drivers out. Ellingson, Jacob Ellingson, Lanford, and Regis Clark all with a ton of damage. Regis Clark actually sitting on pit road at the moment. But out front, green flag is back out as Jamie Barkas continues to hold the lead. But right now, Patrick Drabick and Alex Cruz trying to hold off, and boy, here we are already wrecking again. Caution back out. Jimmy Cofield goes around. We saw him up there in the top 5 with those new tires. And Jacob Denson also involved. We'll go back and see what happened. Checking here on the restart. Watch the 3. He's on 10 lap holder tires of the guys around him. He's been hanging around sort of the back all race long and just, you know, getting up here. The racing is different the closer you get to the front. And I think Jimmy just makes a small mistake and going to grab that left rear. We'll see as they come off the corner. And you know what? I'm going to say Jacob Denson really didn't give him a whole lot of room. Jacob, while he does get turned, you would like to see the 7 go out to the wall there. And I think it's safe to assume if you're the 3 that he's going to go out a little bit more. But honestly, it's hard to blame either one of them right there. That's sort of just a racing incident. The guys fighting for the same spot. I mean, you could call it either way. Jacob, you'd hope he'd go up a little bit higher. I think Jimmy just gets on the throttle a little bit too much, pushes that front end, and not able to get checked up. When he does, the 24 gets into the back of him, they go around. So sort of a racing deal there, I'd say. But you see Jimmy's car not looking good. So he's on pit road, going to need some damage fix. He's already used his fast repair, so going to need to spend a little bit of time. And actually, it looks like he's going to call it quits. He exits out and comes back in, so I'm not real sure what's going on with Jimmy's. But going to go multiple laps down, so his day is going to likely be done. Well, and as this continues, I think tempers are going to continue to get worse and worse as guys are going to start stacking up folks that they're irritated with, and that can definitely carry over moving forward. But right now, my eyes are on Trevor McManus on those fresh tires. Hasn't really got a chance to use them yet. So far, Jamie and Pat made the right call to come in when they did. Now, fuel is something that they got to be concerned with. If they get a long green flag run, I'd be a little bit worried about that, which is why I'm surprised they didn't come down pit road. But, at these short tracks, they usually can go pretty long on fuel, so it's possible they can make it 130 laps. Honestly, I don't know the fuel window, but they probably would have come down pit road if they felt confident. But they're in sort of a weird spot if they can't make it on fuel. Because Trevor's going to, if they get a long green flag run here, that could be bad for them. But we'll see. We'll go on board with Trevor for this restart. Trevor gets a nice run up through the gears. And that's where you're going to see the new tires really working it. As through the center of the corner, he's going to have a ton of grip that these other guys just don't have right now. And you can see Patrick actually going to go to the outside of his teammate, just feeling the pressure of Trevor McManus. And he's been trying to ride behind his teammate, but he can't do it any longer. And so now both Go Locker drivers side by side trying to block both lanes pretty much. As I tell you what, Trevor now going to jump up to the outside. He's going to have Mark McCrary behind him. Now Trevor is going to follow suit and try to go around the outside, but then Patrick backs up the entry on the outside, and here we go. Trevor McManus is going to find a way to go around if he can. Just nowhere to go as they're side by side, and Mark McCrary going to join the battle here. Side by side up front. We have some racing if we can keep this thing green. And Patrick Drabick now using that outside line. I think he is in good shape as, Marcus gets a little bit loose off of turn 2, trying to get that power down. But here comes Patrick Drabick on the outside. He's got the preferred line if he can get that thing wound up, and he does off the corner. Going to get a half a car length as they go down into turn 1. But that wide entry to turn 1 is going to give Marcus what he needs. Marcus slides up the corner just a little bit down off the track in turn 2. And Patrick going to have about a car length. Not quite able to clear him just yet, but I think Patrick is actually going to have this position when he comes off of turn 4. Off of turn 4, that's exactly what happened. Patrick Drabick out to the lead as Trevor McManus is going to follow. Jamie actually gets a nice run here, but here we go. Trevor says, I am done with this. He's going to go 3 wide down on the bottom. Almost make contact between the 15 and 07, excuse me. As these old tires really struggling to hold back a hard charging number 9 and 0. McManus going to drive deep into the corner, get to the inside of the 07. Trevor not happy enough with second. He's going for the lead. And if I could tell you one thing that's true, the sky's blue, grass is green, and Patrick Drabick ain't moving a damn inch for you. You're going to have to work for it. And he goes down to the inside. You can see Trevor really charging the entry. Patrick really fighting hard on the outside, but those tires starting to give way as now Trevor going to take over the top spot, and he's going to clear him and take over the lead. And now Patrick going to try to fight back here on the outside. We'll see if Trevor can get up in front of him. No, actually, Patrick gets a great run through 3 and 4. He's back on the outside. Mark McCrary now joining the battle. As they come off of turn 2, Patrick Drabick going to lose the lead. And now he's going to have to fight Mark McCrary. Starting to wonder if they're thinking about that tire decision, to stay out. Now, I could break it down 100 different ways. I have no idea what their intentions were. There's 2 things. They want to keep their track position because they know how hard it is to pass. Tires don't really fall off that much. You can see, even though they have about 60 lap difference in tires, they're still running very similar lap times. Patrick Drabick's running a 22.5 and McManus is 22.4. So we're looking at about 2 tenths on 60 lap tires. That's a good That's good enough for me to stay out on a set if I choose to. So that's probably part of it. They want to keep that, but also, you know, people are going to do what they don't do. If they come down pit road, other people may stay out, and they got to pass 20 cars, which would be dang near impossible. So they were really in a tough spot there. I think that it'll wash. If we get another caution, everybody will come down pit road, and they'll be pretty even. They'll be able to go back and fight for it. But right now, if it goes green the rest of the way, those two going to likely be in trouble. But up front, we've got some new players up in the lead. Mark McCrary has been playing around in this top 5 all race long. Now he's setting his sights on this leader as Trevor McMahon is trying to get gone, but McCrary not allowing that to happen. Let's actually go on board with Mark and watch what you have to do to be fast here at Richmond. You got to drive deep into this corner. You got to use that trail braking. You see, he's not using a whole lot of wheel. Well, how's he turning down the corner if he ain't using a whole lot of wheel? Well, he's using the brake. The brake, when we just trail braking, you're not really using it to stop. You're allowing the car to rotate on entry as the weight shifts around. And as the middle of the corner, you can see he's putting a lot more wheel into it as that stops helping him. You know, at some point, trail braking, you got to get back on the gas. So he's using that brake right there. That's keeping the wheel from turning. He's saving that right front. Gives a little bit of wheel in the center. And then being very aggressive off. And you see, get a great run down into turn 3. And these turns are a lot different. I talked about how the front stretch opens up. It's sort of a D shape. So you can really open up that steering wheel a lot more. And you have a lot less opportunity. You can see Mark McCrary actually backing up the corner a little bit. Right here, it can be scary. You can see how he has to really counter steer. Turn that tape back up to the top off of 2 because the weight unloads of the car, and it'll make it very, very loose if you aren't careful, and that back end will come around. But right now, getting some great racing here up front, but I'm sure in the back, in the mid-pack, we're getting some good racing as well. We'll take a look at some new drivers. We got Tyler Justice. These two, Tyler and Cameron Mason, battling it out. This is for the 13th and 12th position. As your points leader, or one of your points leader, Jacob Denson, while he's had just an awful night after some contact, a couple contacts that have put him back in the back of the field. His rival up front, Jacob Ellingson, having connection issues. He is out of this thing. So Jacob needs to be thinking about, probably not going to win this race, but if I can get up there in the top 10, that's what I need to do to continue to hold on to those points, have a better start position once the playoff starts. But you never know what could happen. You got to keep digging. He might can find his way back up at front. But right now, about 6.2 seconds off the lead and quite a bit of damage. So we'll see if he's able to do something with that. He's running just as fast as the leaders, but he's got a lot of work to do. We'll see on board with him just how much he's got to go through. He's got George Jewell right in front of him. You can hear Jacob being very, very smooth on the wheel and on the throttle. He's letting that car roll through the center. Giving a little small arc off of 2. You see that out of a lot of guys. You can see the run that he's going to get here, and look down to the inside of George. Fortunately, George not going to have anywhere to go. And that top line being stacked up, and I believe that's Matt Knight's in the 8th position. It's really stacking the, oh my goodness, as Denson's going to be able to get a ton of spots here. We'll see. He's going to get stuck behind, I think that's Scott Feltz. As it go down to the corner, but look at this gaggle of cars as Jacob Denson moving, he thought about going 3 wide there, but he's got the 42 of Bobby Germain there down on the bottom side, so he's going to have to follow Scott through here as Germain going to get a little bit loose off of the exit of 4. But Denson now up into the 11th position. He's looking to get inside the top 10, and Denson got some new life. He's running out of time, just a little bit, like 38 laps to go, but you never know what could happen. He is definitely scooting right now. Up front, the battle still here between McManus and McCrary. And we talked already about this. I mean, this is the worst thing that could happen for the 07 and 15 is a long green flag run after all those cautions. And they're struggling on tires. They're holding on to third and fourth for now. But what about fuel? That's one thing I have a question for. It's they're only running, I think, 98 miles, so it's not a very long race. So we'll see if they have enough fuel to make it all the way on fuel from the beginning. But I think that would be tough. I think they would love to see a caution anytime because they're just struggling to keep up with these top two that have really pulled away by almost a second here. Go back a little bit further. Brandon Barrier, somebody we've talked about that, man, his right front was scraping the track just a few laps ago. And look at him, already up to sixth place. He's looking down to the inside of Dustin Hardy, who's having a fantastic race. Brandon being a little careful there as he thought maybe Dustin was going to get to the wall, but he is trying to get inside the top five here. Looking down to the inside of the 24, struggling to get the run off the corner. You can see he's giving him a whole lot of space. He can actually grab a little bit of that apron. He was able to get around Alex Cruz just a few laps ago. But Barrier got the freshest tires out of anybody. And he's going to fall back behind Dustin Hardy for just a few minutes, trying to figure out a way to get around him. But I think Brandon looking to get himself a top five here after having some issues. And now going to try something a little bit different, trying to get a run. We saw, oh my goodness, as Dustin Hardy had to check up off the corner and almost opened the door. Brandon wasn't able to take advantage of it right then, but through the middle of 3 and 4, he got a great run through the middle of the corner. Not quite clear. I mean, Brandon, I'll be honest with you, Brandon's being way too nice. And I definitely want to shout him out. That he's given plenty of room, and hey, that worked out for him because he's able to move into the 5th position. But he's being so nice. He could have taken that position a couple of times, but doing what he needs to do to stay in this thing. He's got that fast repair already gone, so he doesn't have that. He needs to be careful that he doesn't put himself in a bad position. Now, he's about 5 seconds off the leaders, but he's at 3.7 seconds to make up to get to the Goat Locker Racing bunch of Patrick Drabick and Jamie Barkus. So Brandon Barrier dealing with some lap traffic. Doug Ellingson. Doug going to move down to the bottom. Oh, my goodness. So frustrating. I know Doug doesn't always know where he wants to go. You know, sometimes it's better to know where the racing line is and maybe give way to that racing line. It's never good when the lap cars drive in the racing line. You know, it's just stay high and try to stay off of it. But, you know, I think Doug just wants to do what's comfortable for him so he can make the best decisions to make sure folks can get around him. He's going to make contact with Jacob Denson. He's almost moved lanes and almost makes contact with the 7, who is now up into the 9th position, but almost contact there. Up front, Travis McManus still holds the lead, but Mark McCrary not letting him get away. And honestly, Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkus starting to maybe creep back into this thing. The lap times have equalized. Last lap, Trevor McManus ran a 23 flat, and McCrary a 23.1, and Patrick Drabick right behind McCrary running almost the exact same lap time. So you wonder, do these guys get up here and really cook these tires? In a situation like this where tire wear is not that much of a factor, the track is cool around 75 degrees or so, tire temperature is everything. Tire wear doesn't necessarily mean much. So if you can keep those tires cool, and these two up here, get up there and burn them up, really heat them up, get them hot, where that car doesn't rotate through the center. I mean, Patrick Drabick, Jamie could definitely run these guys back down. But still, the question I have is the fuel in the 07 or 15. At this point, they don't really have a choice. They're going to have to run it all the way completely dry and come down, take a splash of fuel if they need it. Because they have been on the track for 106 laps. Those two and Alex Cruz have been on the track 50 laps more than anybody else. So they're waiting for a caution. They've got caution after caution after caution, and we've gotten a nice green flag run here. And we're going to see if they do get it, they'll be in good shape. But right now, the question is fuel. Can they make it all the way on fuel? That's the question I have, at least. Couple guys battling back here. Looks like Jacob Denson has now moved up into the 8th position, gets around Scott Phelps, who's still missing a rear bumper back there. Doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. And there it is. Caution is out. It's Tyler Justice, Bobby Germain, and it looks like, I don't know who that is, John Anthony, who's just had just a nightmare of a race. And that's the caution that we need. We'll go take a look at the replay real quick. We won't spend a whole lot of time on it, maybe. See the 13, the 42, and yeah, just some contact there as drivers trying to avoid each other. Can't go back and get a better look at it. Yeah, the 13 going to get a little loose off the corner, just trying to get up under the 42, and the 00 just gets caught up in it, and that's a motor expiring there on the 00. All right, we'll expect everybody to come down pit road, get 4 tires, and a breath of life for the 07 and the 15 and the 5, who were just sort of in a struggling position there. And because of that, now they get a chance to get even with the top 2 now. I think Jamie and Patrick have been a little bit faster, but Trevor has shown plenty of speed on the short run, so only 20 laps to go. Is anybody going to gamble with 2 tires? That's something that I would expect to see with how tough it's been to pass. Get a little bit of fuel, get 2 tires, get back out there. We'll see if anybody decides to do it. Looks like Trevor is going to win the battle off of pit road. Mark McCrary there, and Patrick Drabick. And you see multiple drivers coming out. So McManus will hold on to the top spot. McCrary comes out in second. I'm surprised to see nobody take 2 tires. It looks like Craig Bontrager in the number 49. He took 2 tires, so he's taking a little bit of gamble here. Jason Kraft stays out in that 12 machine. He comes down pit road now to get his service. So I'm actually really surprised to see Patrick and Jamie not try maybe a 2-tire situation, but to have almost 100 laps on those left sides, I think they made the right call. Now they've got what they need. They just have to go out there and get it done. They're going to have to get it done on the track the hard way and go up there and pass 2 really fast drivers in Trevor McManus and Mark McCrary. Trevor's got the best position. Caution's likely to follow this one. As it's getting down to crunch time, people are going to start pushing harder and harder and harder. There'll be less room, less give and take. And Trevor coming out first, that's a big deal for his chance to win his second race of the season, excuse me. And with the win in your end situation here in Goat Locker, while McManus has the 1 win, being able to get those bonus points and for the playoffs can be huge. Right now, he is sitting 3rd with that 1 win. This would draw him even with Jacob Ellingson and Jake Denson, which would give him the opportunity to get 1 more win, and he would be atop the standings as they go into the playoffs. That's a big deal. So this win, while he doesn't need it to get into the playoffs, he's already in. We're not going to see enough winners to kick him out. Those bonus points mean a whole lot, especially when you only have 2 rounds in each. Well, let me see. Yeah, only 2 races per round. Those bonus points are going to be huge. So he needs to go up there and continue to try to win. There's not a situation where Trevor doesn't care if he wins or not. He wants to go up there and get it done. Mark McCrary would love to get himself into the championship conversation. He currently sits 8th in the standings with no wins. Patrick Drabick surprisingly winless, along with Jamie Barkas, who started on the pole. So those guys all around Trevor hungry for a win. We'll see what they're willing to do to make that happen. Into the Geico restart zone. Trevor McManus going to have control of the start. Going to get a nice jump here as the green flag is back out. Patrick Rabbit going to follow him down into turn 1. Great. Oh, at the 49. On those 2 tires, he goes up into the wall. Trying to catch him. He saves it. That 49 Mountain Dew Baja Blast goes up into the wall, able to save it. As we'll continue to race here, as we are dang near 3 wide for second place, and Patrick Rabbit needed to dispatch Mark McCrary quickly if he's going to have a chance at McManus. Only 15 laps to go. He does not have a whole lot of time to run side by side. Mark McCrary, he has to fight. But the more they race side by side, the worse off it is. But now here we go. Patrick Rabbit has an opportunity to put that Right Now Roofing 07 into victory lane in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series. We got some lap traffic up ahead. Will that play a factor? It has in so many races. Will it tonight? Trevor McManus going to have to be very, very careful here, as it can quickly go sideways. Patrick gets to the inside. Oh, my goodness, McCrary, the one that, they tried to stay out of the way. Unfortunately, McCrary going to lose out there, and that's going to allow Jamie Barkas to get up to second place. So now here we go. The battle is for the top spot at the moment. As these guys get battling side by side, as somebody's getting out of the way. That's 21 of Eric Martinez gets out of the way here. So it's just between these drivers. 12 laps to go. Who can get this win? It's going to be difficult to pass. You think Patrick's getting right to him. It's going to be easy. Unless he decides to use that bumper and move him, it's going to take quite a while. So he's got to get to him, and he's got to set him up, and he's got to work him over. It's going to take 5 or 6 laps to do it clean. Now, get down under 5 laps to go. That's the point where the bumper may get used. Now, if you think, he's going to peek out to the outside, try to make a little move there and try to fit that car on the outside, get that spotter call. He's going to dive down to the inside. Here we go. Battle for the lead. Patrick Rabbit down to the inside, cooks it. He drives way too deep into the corner. McManus going to hold on to it for now, but Patrick letting him know, hey, I'm there. And Jamie Barkas loving this. Patrick actually has to fall back a little bit, gather himself back up, and take another charge at it. That was sort of a desperate attempt. It felt like they're going to have to go around the 49. Who's that going to throw off the most? I think Patrick's getting a nice run here. Oh, he's going to have to go down to the outside this time. He's going to go around him. Can he make it stick? He's got the spotter call, but not quite able to do it. He's going to get a run, though. We'll see if he dives down to the inside in turn 1, if he can do it. Decides not to. Going to fall. Oh, he drives into the corner. McManus going to miss the bottom. McManus really mirror driving. It's McCrary back there in third. Going to get, or fourth. Gets into the wall, trying to catch up to these guys. Here we go. Right to the back bumper goes the 07 coming off the corner. Can McManus do it? He's only got 7 laps to go. Can he hold him off? Off of turn 2, it is 3-way battle. You're hoping let's stay green, boys. No caution. I want to see this thing play out. Now Jamie Barkas joins the battle. He has been one of the fastest drivers. How much patience is he going to have with his teammate? Because he knows if they get side by side, if Barkas cannot complete the pass, that effectively gives Trevor McManus the win. So it's a tough decision for his teammate. He's hoping Pat can go up there and get it done. That's what he's got to cheer on his teammate and say, go get that son of a gun. That's what you got to do, because if Barkas makes a move on his teammate and they get side by side, Trevor going to win this race. Here we go. Patrick Rabbit with a run here. Is he going to think about making that move just yet? Going to drive down into the corner, get right to the back bumper of that number 9 machine off the corner. 5 laps to go here in Richmond. I told you it was going to take a while to make this work. It's not easy to make a pass here in Richmond. Down in 3 and 4. You can see he's really getting there. He's going to give him a little bump. Oh, and he lifts. McManus, no fear as he takes the bump like a man and continues on. And you can see Patrick actually lifted a little bit. It hurt him to do that. Here we go. How long is Marcus going to wait? Patrick gets a little bit loose off 2. Going to defend the bottom. Going to drive down into the corner. Was that his only time? Did he just lose his only opportunity? 3 laps to go. Who is going to win this thing? It is a battle up here, boys and girls. Can Patrick Drabick do it? Will they make contact? He is there. Oh, he's going to make a dive here down to the inside. Both of them really drive deep into the corner. Back on the throttle. Patrick, there's some lap traffic up here. You're trying to hope the lap traffic get out of the way. They don't need to be here. We got 2 laps to go. Get off the track. But we're going to have lap traffic as McManus trying to dodge. Gets a little bit loose. Down into 3 and 4. Oh, Doug Ellingson going to get into the way. White flag is out. Can McManus hold on and get this win? What's Patrick got? One more time. They got one more chance, one more opportunity to get it done. Does he use the bumper? He's not going to be close enough. Not going to be able to do it. Off the corner. Checkered flag for Trevor McManus. Takes home the win, and he will win here at Richmond. Wow, what a race. Woo. What a race, and McManus takes home the top spot and gets the victory here at Richmond with a great drive. 24th all the way to 1st. And before I could get the camera up there, you could honestly, I'm sure he's thrilled, but you could see he was it was almost relief. He just leaned his head back and was just like, oh my goodness. You could see him shaking his hand. He was so tense that whole last 10 laps or so, just holding off the 07, which was charging really, really hard. And you could see, like I said, less celebration, just a whole lot of relief. He's going to burn it down here on the front stretch. But McManus takes home his 2nd win of the season, and that draws him even with Jake Ellingson and Jake Denson. Speaking of Jake Denson, he comes home in the 6th position. What a great drive out of him. All right, well, let's take a break, and one more commercial, and then we will come back, and we'll talk to the top 3 here. Well, all right, we're back. Let's take a look at the results here tonight and see who finished where. We know the top 3. Mark McCrary had just a great attempt there. I think after that pit stop, I think the 07 and 15 were just a little bit faster, and Mark comes home with the 4th place finish, but that's still a great finish for him. Going to get some points, move him up the standings quite a bit. Alex Cruz just been around, and he's been cruising in the top 5 all night long, and he's able to hold on to that top 5 finishing position. Jake Denson, what a great drive by him to recover after that wreck, couple incidents actually, and comes home in the 6th position. Scott Phelps, without a rear bumper, able to recover for a 7th place finish. Dustin Hardy comes home in 8th. Brandon Barrier in 9th, and George Jewell in 10th. 11th going to be Jason Kraft and Jeremiah Holt in 12th. Cameron Mason in 13th. Matt Knight's in 14th. Bobby Jermaine in 15th. 16th is Craig Bontrager. We'll make sure that name is right. Johnny Cofield in 17th. Tyler Justice in 18th. 19th, Doug Ellingson. And 20th, Jonathan Barker. 21st, Eric Martinez, Chance Taylor, and all these drivers out of this thing with multiple laps down with damage. But Chance Taylor, John Anthony, Jimmy Cofield, Regis Clark, Colton Lanford, and Jacob Ellingson going to round out the field. You see up there 11 cautions here tonight. That's sort of the tail of the tape, as it was just a messy race. But we got to talk to our final three, and we're going to start with the winner, Trevor McManus. Get him up into the chat. Trevor, this is Eddie in the booth. Got a copy? Man, what? Oh, that was awesome, dude. What a great. Yeah, well, I talked a little bit about that when you crossed the line. We pulled up your camera, and honestly, it was more relief than it was like celebrating. You were just kind of like, oh my gosh. It seemed like you were doing a lot of work there. Let's go back though. Let's go back to the beginning of the race. You started way back in the field in 24th. What happened there? Did you choose not to qualify? Did you have a bad qualifying run? What caused you to have to start so far back in the field?
Too much because the car would get loose on entry. So I was like, I'm gonna dial some front brake in. That was a bad idea. I ended up like hitting the third line, and I was like, well, this lap's done, so I'll try to recuperate and get a good run coming out of four. So at my second lap, well, at least I'll be somewhere more up front. And spun it coming out of turn four and crossed the line sideways. So once you do that, you lose both laps. And at that point, I said, well, I've seen one of the best drivers I've ever watched on iRacing go from the back, not qualifying on purpose, to the front and win multiple races and championships doing that procedure. So I'm just going to focus my inner Eddie Smith, and I'm going to do everything I can to go up there and win this race. So at
Well,
that point, I channeled Eddie, and we started moving.
Well, it did a great job. I mean, it seemed like it was tough to pass, but you were able to make the moves that you needed to make to get up through there. And then you had that pit stop where you decided to come down and get 4 tires at
Yep.
around the 50 lap mark, which felt about right. I mean, you had 3 extra sets in the pits. The top 3 electing to stay out. Were you surprised by that call of them staying out? What were your thoughts? You had to feel pretty good once that happened, but what were your thoughts about their decision to stay out?
Yes and no, right? Like, I mean, yeah, you're surprised. We got 50 laps, whether 27 of them were under caution or not. Like, you got some good heat cycles in the tires. Pressures are all messed up. I felt like you really couldn't drive the car right. So when they stayed out, I didn't really know which way it was going to go because we just had caution after caution. Man, I mean, they keep it like I can't. They were fast enough to where I don't feel like I could have got around them without a green flag run. And Jamie got really angry and pretty much like put everybody in timeout. So we all started driving a little better. And at that point, that was I feel like where the race was either mine or Mark's, right? So yeah,
Well,
I was surprised, but I wasn't.
Well, you came out and took advantage of it almost immediately. And like I said, what I was saying during the race, I mean, at Richmond, tires are not a huge, advantage. But when you guys are so close in time and speed, tires do make a difference. And it was just a couple tenths that y'all needed. And so you and Mark were able to get around, not pull away. Y'all got around and kind of held, sort of that margin of about half a second for a while there. And it looked like it was going to be between you and Mark, but the iRacing gods are never going to let that happen. You just know how that works, and so caution comes out. You got to come down and take 4 tires because that's what they're going to do. I'm surprised nobody really took 2 tires there. Did that cross your mind? Did you feel like that was necessary, or do you feel like 4 tires all the way is what I'm going to do?
I have a button that I press for 4 tires, so to go and do 2 tires is kind of more work for me. So I don't really ever think about doing 2 tires. When I first started iRacing, man, you take 2 tires, you're pretty much gonna wreck. I've seen people pull it off. It's not my style. Or 4 is better than 2, and you know, I was just hoping that the damage that I had, I smacked the wall pretty hard in front of Mark at one point, and also I got in the back of a lap car coming out of a corner. No fault of them. It was just kind of like wrong place, wrong timing, and just hoping that I could hold him off with the damage. And I feel like that was kind of from being able to actually put in some good laps to where Pat wasn't like right on my bumper. But yeah, dude, that guy, he raced me with the most respect, and I just have the utmost respect for Pat and Jamie and all the guys here that just we can race hard and at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And that last little run to the checkered was really exciting.
For
As
you,
yeah, well,
for the
Pat had
fans,
the
not me.
Pat was really putting a lot of pressure on you, but I have to feel like you've run Richmond enough to know that it's very very difficult to pass because you're running such you're running so fast in the middle of the corner. There's just not a whole lot of opportunity to get a run, because you're in Richmond. You drive really deep in the corner, as deep as you possibly can. You let it roll for just a second, then you're back on the throttle. That combination just doesn't allow for just to easily get a run. It was going to take multiple laps. Did you feel confident in your ability to hold him off? The bumper is always in play, but how nerve wracking was it? What were you trying to do to make sure that he wasn't able to pass you just on a normal without having to use the bumper?
I mean, I, if you pulled up my cam after I crossed that finish line, that I the nerves are shot. To be honest, I mean, dude, Pat and Jamie were the class of the field. I can't say it enough. Like they were just the class, dude. I really wasn't confident when he got around Mark because when we came out, Pat was behind me, and I was like, all right, I kind of got to get a jump that Mark is going to be able to keep him side by side, so I can pull off like a couple tenths, right? Just to get that little bit, and I think the damage kind of screwed my downforce to where I couldn't roll the center enough. So at that point, my plan was just like try to make it so that like when you pass at Richmond, you know this, but fans, if you don't, like you kind of enter at a higher line and then you let the car cut in the center of the corner and you can drive out underneath. So at that point in time, I was like, all right, I have to still do my line. Like I can't do his line because then he can get under me, which he did a couple times. And I kind of like slammed the door hard on him, but I had to kind of get it to where like right at that crossover move, he had to lift just a little bit so he couldn't get underneath me as I was getting out towards the wall. So really, once I noticed that he was going to be that much faster, that was kind of what I was doing. And it's really like a trick that a lot of people, if you study NASCAR, a lot of NASCAR drivers that do it. Like they'll just, that's how you have to pass that Richmond. Enter up higher, get some rolling speed, you get to drive straighter off the corner and get the power down and get beside somebody and try to push them up, in the next corner.
Yeah, well, you did a great job. You're able to hold off a real hard charging Pat and get your second win of the season. That's going to tie you with Ellingson and Denson for the most wins, and that's going to give you just a bonus point going into the playoffs. So, man, congratulations on that win. That's a massive win for you. Great drive here tonight, and as always, who you got to thank?
I got to thank you putting on these shows and obviously not knowing that you did it. You taught me a lot about how to come from the back to the front. Pat, Jamie, great racers, great league owners, fantastic what they're doing with their Goat Locker Foundation. If you don't know about it, look it up, guys. Can't be watching without knowing what Goat Locker does. They're amazing. Not going to get into all of it, but right now, roofing for putting on this league. You got Redbeard Designs, Mir Setup Shops for giving us our setups on Fridays. They're killer. If you need a setup for anything on iRacing, at least I know they do oval. I don't know about the rest, but I know they do oval and they're badass setups. Podium putting on the broadcast on Fridays, and then you got you're with V Speed, so all you guys over there at V Speed and NASCAR 360 does a couple of our races throughout the week. The Goat Larker Foundation for helping out all of the men and women out there for serving for us, first responders, protecting us. If something goes wrong here in our wonderful nation of America. my smoking hot wife for always supporting me no matter what we do and how much debt we go into so that I can build this badass race car and come out here and put on a show for you guys. Wonderful. My family for always supporting me, all my friends, all the people behind me that make this happen, my Indy Autosport teammates. Man, I hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm running out of breath and I feel like I've been here for an hour and someone else shot to do this. Thank you so much, Eddie. I appreciate you so much. But go check out the Artisan Barn. They're a personal sponsor of mine. It's veteran owned. They do a lot of cool stuff. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Well, there you have it. Your winner here tonight at Richmond, Trevor McManus, and he takes home his second win of the season. But we got to talk to the second place finisher and thank them for being so patient as we were trying to get through all that. But Patrick, man, I mean, just a great race. You led 7 laps here tonight. You had a really nice hot rod, that 07 Right Now Roofing Chevrolet was pretty dang fast, and y'all were able to get out, kind of control the race for a while. In that first part of the race, you guys seemed to kind of work together on those restarts. It was really, really messy. How important is it to work with your teammate like that to maintain the top two positions and try to hold on, because you get side by side, it just hurts so much of your momentum.
You talking about like me and Jamie Barkas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that guy. I was racing him as hard as I possibly could. I mean, I don't know what teammate stuff you saw going on, Eddie.
Well, I can imagine
man.
There were some countdowns. I know there was. I know y'all want to get nose to tail. So
yeah, you definitely got to work with your teammate on these restarts, especially at these short tracks. Track position is just, I mean, it's key. And the first part of the race, I mean, it was just caution filled and everything like that, and you want to continue to control the race there a little bit. Now, I'll say we didn't do the best with pit strategy, but it kind of worked out at the end.
Yeah, and I'm curious about that. I would love an answer to this question. Could y'all make it on fuel?
I could not. Jamie said he could. I was about 4 laps short, and with about 25 laps to go, it was kind of looking like it was going to stay green. I just started lifting early. I saw Jamie was about a second and some change behind me, and then the 5th place car was like almost 7 seconds behind. So I was like, well, I could at least hold on to 4th here because I was going to start clutching it. But somehow Jamie had saved a lot more fuel under those cautions than I did, because I was about 4 laps short.
Oh wow! So yeah, so you definitely needed that last caution. Track position's so important here. So I kind of went over that in my head, trying to figure out why y'all stayed out, and being able to stay out front was it's important here. I mean, if 15 people stay out at Richmond with the fall off not being there,
Right.
you find a really difficult position that you're in. So you stay out and try to maintain that track position. But then you have the long green flag run, and y'all are just probably going, golly.
We knew we needed to at least get about 20 to 30 laps in to drag the field back down with us. I mean, really, when I came up to that point in time of the caution, I think we were 10 laps short of halfway. And in our mind, we was like, well, the way all these cautions go, let's go to at least halfway. But the way we caught up to the pace car, it's like we had to slow down real quick, let the pace car go by. Pits were open, so it was like the split-second decision. And then, of course, it's a very lonely feeling when it's just you, your teammate, and then your other teammate, Alex Cruz, are the only 3 out on track. You're like, well, we're going to see how this one plays out.
Well, you're able to get that caution. I mean, y'all were maintaining very well. You're going to have to pit. That would have been pretty disastrous for your finish. But you're able to pit, and then there at the end, just all the bad stuff. Kind of you can kind of look past it once you have a race there at the end like that between you, Trevor, and Jamie. Talk a little bit about that. You did give him the bumper one time, and I respect that, because I think we both know how difficult it is to pass at Richmond, especially when you're so close in speed. You had to try it one time, and you gave him the bumper, and I thought you were a little bit too nice because you actually lifted a little bit. And when you lifted, he just powered through it and kept going, and that was really it. So what else could you have done? Did you try everything, or is there something that you're kicking yourself now going, man, I wish I would have done that?
No, I mean, I did everything I could do cleanly. I tried to get on his inside a couple times. I actually got there, couldn't quite hold it. Got on his outside a couple times. It's just hard the stick there. I did get into the back of him one time, and then yeah, I'm just not about cleaning anybody out. So I lifted there a little bit, let him gather the thing up because it didn't quite work as expected. He didn't go up the track. And I told him post race, and all that stuff too. If I would have got to him in the final corner, he probably would have got a little bit better of a knock. But nothing else I could have done cleanly. He ran an outstanding race, man.
Yeah, well, but you're still looking for that first win. I know that tonight would have been a great opportunity to get. I mean, you had 2 Right Now Roofing cars. He could have got at least one of them in victory lane, but
You
getting
tried,
them on,
Eddie. You tried.
getting them on the podium. That's a good good thing. So congratulations to that. But yeah, I mean, you're still looking for that first win. We look down the schedule. You got some races coming up. I mean, you got Atlanta next week. You got New Hampshire, Watkins Glen, Charlotte. Where do you think that first win's going to come?
I mean, Atlanta next week's going to be a little bit of a crapshoot. I mean, it's a drafting track nowadays, and I do thoroughly enjoy those. I enjoy plate racing and drafting tracks, so I'm gonna go out there and have a whole lot of fun, and and see what happens. But really, I mean, if I had to circle one on the schedule right now, it's New Hampshire. I'm just a big fan of the flat tracks. I understand them a lot better. I could drive them a lot better. Love going to them. So hopefully, that's when we're going to get this 07 into victory lane is New Hampshire, if not sooner.
Well, you got close tonight. Very, very close, but second place, always good to get, especially have a great race to the end. Pat, who you got to thank tonight?
Well, obviously, right now, roofing and everything that they've done here in the Xfinity series and what they've done as a whole for Go Locker Racing. Proud to carry them on the side of this 07 car. Jan Printing and Promotions, we got a bunch of new stuff coming out with the new logos, hats, T-shirts, all that kind of fun stuff. The Veterans for Life Foundation, again, not only what they're doing here, but what they do for our nation's warriors all across the United States. Redbeard Design, and I got a huge shout out to you, Eddie, and all the work that you do behind the scenes, not only here on Tuesday nights, but what you do on Friday nights as well, and Podium Esports and Premier Setups, and the NASCAR 360 network that takes care of Wednesday and Thursday night. It takes a lot of team effort around here, and I'm not talking just on Goat Locker, but all the resources and all the people coming together and believing in what we're doing. And we've done some outstanding stuff, and it's been awesome. So got a huge shout out to just everybody that gives us all the love and support and tunes in. And again, congratulations to Trevor on a win. That was a lot of fun at the end, man. A lot of fun.
All right. Well, there you have it. Second place finisher, Patrick Dravitt, comes home so close, but not quite able to get it done there at the end. Another driver who we've been missing, Marcus, back in the building and come home in third place. You started on the front row, and I picked you. So I think I'm the one that screwed you up because I picked you for the race as the guy to beat. I mean, you've always been really, really good at Richmond, and it seemed like that was the case for the majority of the race. I mean, you led 69 laps. You had a great, really, really fast Right Now Roofing Chevrolet. But, yeah, I mean, talk a little bit about that decision to stay out under that caution. That kind of put y'all behind the 8 ball just a little bit. Talk a little bit about that decision.
Yeah, I mean, look, no other way to say it, but that was a horrible first half of the race. That was not the Goat Locker standard by any means. And we will definitely get that cleaned up before next week. But, with so many cautions coming out, I was at the point I could have made the rest of the race on fuel. I didn't need to stop. But I kind of put it in my head that, once we got to halfway, then I would probably consider coming in and putting new tires on and everything. But Trevor and Mark beat me to the punch, and so then it was we didn't know what to do, and then we start getting a green flag run there. So what I don't know. I mean, they made the right choice. It worked for them. Maybe I should have been faster with that decision to come in pit road and get some tires on the car, but it was still strong. I think we were both Pat and I think we're faster. I felt like I was faster at the end, and both Pat and Trevor. Not to take anything away from them, but not going to wreck a teammate, and Pat's not going to wreck Trevor to get a win there. So bringing home third, happy with that. I'm glad to be back. It feels like it's been 2 years, not just 2 weeks since I've been in the car. So to come out and get third place finish after being gone so long, I'll take it.
Well, there at the end, I know you were in a tough spot because you you wanted to get up there and battle, but you knew as soon as you got beside Pat, that was going to pretty much give Trevor the win. How tough is it to sit there and ride in third place, knowing that you're probably one of the fastest on the track, and not really having the opportunity to get up there and maybe battle for the win, just because you knew that if you got side by side with Patrick, that was effectively giving the race to Trevor.
Yeah, and we couldn't do that. And I saw, Pat had a couple opportunities there where he had runs, and Trevor was just able just to stay in front of him, and Pat really could never get that spot or even get up alongside of him to stay there through the corner, and hold them up. And yeah, you're right. I wasn't going to make any moves to take that away from Pat, because I mean, if we could have got one of the Right Now Roofing cars in the victory lane, that would have been great. So I was hoping he was going to be able to make a move and get the inside of Trevor, and then I was just going to follow him through, and then hopefully we'd have finished 1-2. And then it just got to the point, with when we were inside of 6 laps to go, it was too late. Even if I had gotten around Pat, that I wouldn't have had enough laps to clear Pat and then get after Trevor. So, race just worked out the way it did. It's I'm not upset about that. I'm more upset about the quality of racing that we had in the first half, and that very upset about that. So the third place finish, I'm thrilled with. Glad we could bring that Right Now Roofing Camaro home in the top 3 and get to talk to you. But yeah, it wasn't a great race by any means.
All right, man. Well, tell me who you got to thank.
Oh, well, got to thank you first of all. Sure you did a bang up job. I'll watch it tomorrow, review everything off your broadcast. Can't wait for that. Always enjoy my Wednesday mornings. Got to thank Right Now Roofing for sponsoring this deal on Tuesday nights with the Xfinity Series. And, the fact that I get to have them on the car is a big plus there. Got to thank Cruising Classics, Jam Printing Promotions, Veterans for Life Foundation, Red Beard Design Company, and we definitely got to thank our friend Taylor Kitchen over at Above the Yellow Line podcast. If you guys are not watching her yet, you are missing out. This young woman is very knowledgeable in NASCAR and always has great information to put out. She really does a great job over there. So make sure you're tuning in to Above the Yellow Line. You can catch her on YouTube. I think she pretty much goes live on Thursday nights. So check that out.
All right. Well, there you have it. Third place finisher, Jamie Barkus, brings the Right Now Roofing number 15 machine in a home in third place. Well, man, oh man. Well, that, like they said in their interviews, tough first half of the race, and it sounds like the admins decided to let everybody know that we need to clean this up, or we're gonna start making something happen here. And that sometimes that's what has to happen. Guys get so focused on the battles and people that have bumped them and getting into it, they forget the bigger picture. And there at the end, though, had a really, really nice race and a really great race for the win. So another great race here in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series. I'm Eddie Smith. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed the broadcast as we take a look at the schedule one more time. This is where we're going. We got Atlanta. That's going to be a wild one. We're going to see how these Xfinity cars race there. It should be a fun and exciting race to see. New Hampshire, not sure how on excitement, but it's going to be a fun one. Somebody's going to really be able to show off their talents there. As New Hampshire is a driver's track for sure. Then we get to go to road course, then to Charlotte, and then we are playoff racing. Go to Bristol, Michigan for round number 1. Then the round of 8, Kansas and Phoenix. And then in May, we're going to have Iowa to set or to crown our champion. So anyway, I'm out of here. Thank all of our sponsors again. We will see y'all next week for some super speedway action. Looking forward to it. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you next time. Tomorrow night, the Cruising Classic Next Gen Series is going to be on NASCAR Season 360. The ARCA Series on the Veterans for Life Foundation ARCA Series on Thursday nights. And then on podium will be the Jam Printing Promotions Truck Series. Come on out. Got a lot of racing going on this week. Glad to be back. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you.